electrified with excitement as the communication station for kids students, brought to you by Manalapan Township Parks and Recreation, prepare for their television interviews. Hi, I'm Judith Drucker, founder and instructor of Communication Station for Kids programs, and today we have a phenomenal show for you. Jensen, one of our Be a Reporter students, is kicking off the program with a live interview of Ralph Atanasia, cake sculptor on the TLC Network's Cake Boss reality show. Wow, a national TV star in our midst. That's going to be great. Following Jensen, we will have Vicky featuring the rock music teen idol, Justin Bieber, followed by Jacob sharing the history of baseball's oldest board game, Stratomatic, and Masuma giving us a biography of J.K. Rowling's. There's a lot more that follows, so stay tuned. Now, here's Jensen.
How do you feel when you smell the sensational sweet scent of baking going on? Does it take you back to memories of your mom or grandma's kitchen? Stepping into Carlo's Bakery in Hoboken with its heavenly sweet chocolatey scents will transcend you back to that special place in your heart. I'm Jensen, reporting live from the Communication Station for Kids. Everyone who works at this bakery is family, whether they are related by blood or bonds of friendship and business. Whenever you go there, the lines are long, but it is always worth the wait when you are greeted by a friendly, familiar face at the door. How can faces be familiar if you have never been there before, you ask? It's more than likely that if you have watched TLC on Monday nights at 9 o'clock, you have seen all the faces from the bakery on screen. Carlo's Bakery is home to the national television show Cake Boss, starring Buddy the Boss Velastro. The show takes viewers behind the scenes of Carlo's Bakery. Carlo's Bakery started with Buddy's dad, and his legend lives on. Throughout the years, traditions have thrived, and the heart of the bakery was and is and will always be in the Velastro family. The bakery team includes Buddy, his mother, his 4 older sisters, and 3 brothers-in-law. Although they play a very big part on keeping the bakery legend alive, Buddy has other employees that play a very big role in keeping the bakery in business and on top. One of the team is Ralph, otherwise known as Ralphie Boy, and he is my very own cousin. Ralph is the head sculptor in the bakery, and he could sculpt anything from dinosaurs to people. I am excited to bring Ralphie out as my special guest today.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. To start, when you are walking down the street, do people recognize you?
The ones who know what I look like, yeah.
Okay. You studied fine art. Tell me about your fine art studies and how you began in the cake business.
Well, I went to an art school in Plainfield, New Jersey called Ducray, which is a great school. Anyone who was looking for a really good art education should totally go there. The dean of that place was like this incredibly talented but like ripplingly muscled Popeye ex-Navy guy named Frank. He was really great. He would teach anatomy class by rolling up his sleeve and flexing, and we would all be amazed. So yeah, I did that. After that, I went to school for like special effects makeup out near Pittsburgh, and at Douglas Education Center is a program that Tom Savini, who's a special effects guy, put together. And I did a lot of sculpting there because there's a lot of sculpting that needs to get done when you're like designing makeups and making doing the sculptures to make the molds from, to make all that stuff. So that's sort of how I ended up, doing what I do now. I had a lot of history sculpting. I mean, my whole life has been art. This is a weird turn to take, though. I never thought I'd be sculpting chocolate in a bakery where they film a reality TV show about people yelling in a bakery.
Okay. Now, tell the viewers what jump-started your career working at Carlo's Bakery.
What jump-started my career? I showed up and they gave me the job. They saw how magnificent I was right from the start. Also handsome. I don't know why everybody forgets to mention that.
All right, so far, like you've been working there for a while now. Tell me about your experience you have had working there so far.
It's incredibly stressful all the time. Even when nothing's going wrong, that's making somebody angry somewhere. And when it's like angry dominoes in that place. Once one person's angry, they yell at somebody and they spread it around. And the thing is, as soon as someone yells, they forget that they were angry, and they just pass it. And then everyone else will be angry, and they'll be looking at it. Like whoever started this will look and see everyone else being angry and go, what's all this? What are you doing? Why are you guys yelling? We got work to do. And it's incredible. So it's very stressful, and the deadlines are a lot of the time are really tight. We have work that has to get done in a specific amount of time. I mean, everything we do is perishable because it's all food, but it's really fun. I mean, if I told a 7-year-old what I did for a living, his brain would melt. It's like, what do you do? Well, I make toys out of candy all day long. It's a fun job.
Okay, so tell me about your relationship with your boss and the other employees.
The boss that I answer to the most is Mauro. He's like the guy who's most directly, in charge of me all the time, and he's terrifying. He goes back and forth between being like incredibly sweet. He's sort of like a pit bull in a teddy bear costume, but balding. So I don't know. I really like Mauro. Like we all joke around a lot, and we all work together. But when they say you have to do something, you got to get it done, and we respect them to we expect them to know what has to get done, and we know that they wouldn't tell us to do something that we couldn't do or that they wouldn't be able to help us to do. So there's a lot of trust and a lot of fun.
Okay, and lastly, I know, like you said, that things get crazy at times, and there's like yelling that goes on. So what is it like to be in the middle of all of that?
Like I said, incredibly stressful. I mean, on top of all of the different personalities, there's 3 to 5 days out of the week, there's a camera crew. There's like 12 extra people in the bakery, and it's not a big space. And we're already on top of each other, and then you've got all these people with equipment and lights and microphones and stuff, and it's nuts. Mm-hmm. It's nuts, but being in the middle of it is even worse because I'm not in any kind of position of authority. I'm just one of the grunts, and you just have to accept it. You just have to take it, and you just smile, and you kind of pretend it's happening to somebody else, or like it's a ride. You just throw your hands up, and you just let it wash over you. So yeah, that's what it's like.
Okay, so we know that you went on a trip to Italy with the Velastros and some more of the team, like the crew. Well, yeah. Okay, so what was that like? Rome was beautiful. When I got there, I never wanted to. After I'd been there for a while, I never wanted to come home. It's the most gorgeous city I've ever been to, and I was the ugliest person there. Everybody in Rome is beautiful. I don't know how they managed to pull that off, but I want to go back. The food was incredible. Buddy would get these. We'd go out for these extravagant meals while we were there. Like we went to this one seafood restaurant, and Buddy just said, "You know what? Let's get some of everything." I was okay. Yeah. We had a good time. Buddy told me a lot of, he told me a lot of stories. I got to hang out with him more than I do at the bakery, because we're always working at the bakery. So he told me a bunch of stories that he probably wouldn't like me to repeat on public access cable. Okay. But
no, it was great.
It sounds like fun.
And I got to hang out with Danny the whole time. And that guy is, you know which one Danny is. He looks like if Super Mario had retired and might beat you up. So that was fun. He's a trip.
Yes, didn't you guys get lost in the beginning?
Yeah. Danny speaks Italian. He was born right on the border of like Italy and Switzerland. Like he in the Alps there. He speaks Italian. We shouldn't have been able to be lost in Italy. But yeah.
So, and lastly, what is like one of your favorite like jobs to do when you're like there? Like one of the favorite things to sculpt or things to do?
I like it when we get. It's not like a specific thing, but I like it when we get sculptures that don't have like too many guidelines or like too much reference. Like if somebody, a lot of the time we have to do portraits of people. They'll like send in pictures and they're like, I really like you to sculpt my husband. It's his birthday. These are my kids. That I don't like. I mean, it's still fun to do, but the stuff I like the best is the stuff that's really loose. If an order comes in and just says, we need a robot. And they're like, well, what kind of robot? And they're like, we trust you. That's the best, because then I get to have fun with it. And I get to, like, well, what do I think a robot should have? Like big clampy claws and little satellite dish ears here for like, doo, 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 doo. Like that stuff, that's great. When I get to just have fun with it, that's the best.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're like a big part in the bakery, and you have like a good time and a good bonds with the people that are there, and comfortable. So thank you for coming out and telling us all about Cake Boss.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you to our special guest, Ralphie, my cousin, the head sculptor from the hit reality TV show Cake Boss, that in 2010 had over 1.4 million viewers. Throughout the years, the recipes have been perfected, fixed, and prepared to sell the highest quality of baked goods. In the show Cake Boss, they are known for making their challenging cakes, but in the midst of all this, they have to keep up with the orders being made outside of the kitchen. They continue to make their famous Italian pastries and cookies, but their main seller would be cannolis. Cake Boss is a great show for more than the pastries and backstories. It shares sentimental value about working hard to succeed and to cherish our family and not take them for granted, because they will not always be around. So, the real sweet goodness of this show is not the pastries themselves, it's the family and friends coming together and making it all happen. I'm Jensen, and now, pass the cannolis, please.
Are you in love with Justin Bieber? So many girls are. It's amazing the way they react when they see him at his concert, laughing and crying with joy. So many girls like him so much that they will stand in long lines in the rain and in the freezing cold just to get his concert tickets. Hi, my name is Victoria, reporting from Communication Station for Kids. There's a fever going around, striking all girls across the country, and the only cure is pop teen sensation Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber was born March 1st, 1994 in Canada. Justin enjoys playing piano, guitar, and the drums. He loves to eat spaghetti and meatballs, and his favorite candy is Sour Patch Kids. Justin loves to eat lots of juicy strawberries because he likes to eat healthy food. Justin is going through some changes like writing new songs, touring around the country, and performing at the VMA Awards. And have you seen his new haircut? What a look. Justin didn't become a rock star because of the fame and fortune. He became a rock star because of the passion he had for music. Thanks to his family's support, Justin learned to never give up, and now he's a big success. He says music is an unusual language that is no matter the color of our skin, brings us together. Justin is so busy that he barely has time to see his family and friends, so when he has time, he takes advantage of it and has fun. Justin really doesn't want to disappoint any of his fans at any time. Like the time when he had a sore throat, his manager said that they have to cancel the show, but Justin Bieber didn't want to. What a sweet boy. Well, Justin Bieber, good luck out there. Once again, I'm Victoria, reporting from Communication Station for Kids. Bye.
Sometimes the best fun can be had by an old-fashioned game playing. One of my favorite things to do is play a game called Stratomatic. I'm Jacob from Communication Station for Kids. And a few years ago, my dad introduced me to the baseball Stratomatic game. The creator was an 11-year-old boy from Long Island named Hal Richmond, who made up the game in his bedroom in 1949. It took until 1961 for him to be able to sell the game to the public. Today, there are many versions of Stratomatic, including baseball, football, basketball, and hockey. In 1986, Stratomatic introduced a computerized version of the game that you could play without bending any cards. Stratomatic is not an easy game to find in the stores, but you could purchase it online at www.stratomatic.com. On February 12th of this year, there was a 50th anniversary celebration in New York City. Hal Richmond, the baseball player Doug Lanville, and other people attended the 50th celebration. Everybody went downstairs to play pickup games. You can see videos of the celebration on YouTube. It's definitely something I loved. It is very easy to play. There's the basic way, the advanced way, and the super advanced way. There's 4 dice, one a 20-sided one, and 4 little runners. 3 of the runners are for base runners, another one is for outs. They also provide individual cards for each Major League player. Each card has columns that show different possibilities. You roll the dice and look on each card to see if it's an out, a hit, or any other outcome. You follow the rules of baseball, and amazingly, it's very realistic. People of all ages can play because there are different charts for different skill levels. Stratomatic has many leagues. The Stratomatic game has also made it to Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. So if you like statistics and baseball like I do, then you might want to try playing the Stratomatic game. This is Jacob reporting for Communication Station for Kids.
Have you ever picked up a book that you couldn't stop reading? That happened to me with the Harry Potter series. Hi, I'm Masuma reporting to you from the Communication Station for Kids. I bet right now you are thinking, oh, not another Harry Potter story, but I promise you that this time it's going to be different. I'm going to be talking about the author, Joanne Catherine Rowling. Now, Jo is not just any old author that suddenly wanted to publish books. Since she was a little girl, she used to tell magnificent stories to her younger sister Dee. She started thinking about Harry Potter on a train ride to London. She didn't have a pen or a paper, so she let the ideas for a story bubble up in her mind. As soon as she found paper, she wrote all her ideas down. She didn't think she was going to publish the story, but she wrote it anyway. Suddenly, her mother became sick, and Jo had to go see her. Then tragedy struck. Her mother died. Jo felt new hope then to keep on writing her story. By then, she had already had her daughter Jessica and left her abusive husband. Since Jessica was born, it was hard for Jo to have any free time to herself. Jo knew she had to finish her story or else she would never get to do it. So whenever Jessica fell asleep in her stroller, Jo would run to the nearest coffee shop and write it all down. When she finally finished, she sent her story to the first publisher. The next day, he returned it and said he didn't like it. Jo didn't give up hope in her story. She sent her story to another publisher and he sent it back a letter and said he would publish it. Jo couldn't believe it. Her story was going to get published. Next thing she knew, she was a famous author. Who knows what the phenomenal Jo would come up with next? I'm hoping for another wonderful book. This is Masuma signing off from Communication Station for Kids.
Wasn't that great? Now we've got the talk show program discussing the very important issue of cell phone usage by children, the rules, the risks, and the rewards. Nick, Spencer, Yanni, and Michael will be interviewing in our studio a detective from the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office and a representative from Verizon Wireless.
Thank you, Mrs. Drucker, and thank you for coming this evening. The Communication Station for Kids talk show is something that is important to us as all young people, parents, and citizens. Tonight we will be discussing the issue of children 13 years old and under using cell phones and smartphones. Children as young as 7-year-old have phones these days. Parents say it is for their safety, but there are lots of issues that they need to be understood when kids have cell phones. Tonight we will be discussing the rules around cell phones in our public schools, privacy and safety issues when owning a cell phone, and the issue of cyberbullying with cell phones. To help us understand these two complicated issues, we have two guests in our studio today. We have Rick Broccolier, a detective from the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office, discussing this issue of cyberbullying and cell phone usage, and we have David Sandberg, Public Relations Manager from Verizon Wireless, discussing cell phone privacy issues. Let me introduce the reporters on our show tonight. We have Yanni Nicolaitis and Michael Gaida. Yanni and Michael will be discussing the Manalapan school policy on cell phones for students. We have Nicholas Pepitone, who will be interviewing Rick Broccolier on the topic of cyberbullying with cell phones. And me, Spencer Drucker, and I will be interviewing David Sandberg on the topic of cell phone privacy issues that affect us all. Now let me hand it over to Yanni and Michael to tell us about the school policy on cell phone usage for students.
Cell phones are an important way for parents to stay
connected to their children while in school and out after school activities. The Manalapan Englishtown School District is aware of the fact, and they have a set policy on how kids can have and use their phones in school.
There are rules that need to be followed, and the Manalapan Englishtown School District has a written policy that is available on their website. The policy says that students can bring cell phones to school, but they have to be turned off and kept in their locker, backpack, or similar type of bag during the school day.
So even though you might think that it's all right to have your cell phone out at lunchtime, it is not all right, and it is against the school rules. Students cannot use their phones during the lunch or in the halls or anywhere else during the school day hours.
This may surprise you. Students are officially not allowed, according to the written district policy, to have their cell phones out in any after-school activity or extracurricular activity.
One more important district policy states that any cell phone that has a camera or video recorder is banned from school at all times. Wow, there are not too many phones out there that do not have cameras on these days.
So Michael, what grade are you in?
4th.
From your experience, do you see kids with their cell phones out at school?
Yes, a lot of the time. Back to you, Spencer.